Good morning. So today we are going to be working on Unit 6 still. And this entire unit, once again, is about equations and inequalities. And we are going to be doing Module 6.5 today, which is one-step division equations. And our learning target, I can write and solve division equations for real world and mathematical problems by using the multiplication property of equality, okay? And our vocabulary, inverse operations, which we should know pretty well by now, and the multiplication property of equality, okay? So, if I am looking at inverse operations, once again, if I'm doing division equations, what is the inverse of division? And that would be multiplication. And we are going to be using the multiplication property of equality today while solving our problems. All right. So if you look at this, if you multiply each side of an equation by the same non-zero number, the two sides are going to remain equal. So for example, if I have 8 over 4 is equal to 2. Okay, if I have this, something like this given to me, if I'm going to multiply both sides by the same non-zero. Obviously, it has to be non-zero because anything times 0 is 0, so it's not going to work, right? So if I look at this and if I do times 4 on one side of the equation, I've got to do exactly the same thing on the other side of the equation. So times 4. And then if I have 4 divided by 4, what do I get? I get 1, right? Because this becomes this. And so 1 times 8 gives me 8 and 2 times 4 also gives me 8. So as you can see that the two sides still remain equal, and that's basically what the multiplication property of equality is. All right? Now, I'm going to take you to my whiteboard where we are going to learn how to write division equations. Okay? So if you look at this, you can write equations to represent real-world problems involving division. So the table below shows the steps for writing an equation to represent a real-world problem. Okay? So if I look at the steps again, these are always the same for equations that we have talked about already. Okay, so let's look at the words. We are going to describe the mathematics of the problem, and we are going to use only the most important words in the problem. Then we are going to define a variable to represent the unknown quantity, and we're going to translate the words into an algebraic equation. So let's look at this question, and we are going to be using the steps that we just talked about. Okay? And Cyrus, Brian, and Michael are sharing a pack of stickers. Each student gets 9 stickers. Write a division equation that can be used to determine the total number of stickers in the pack. So we're going to describe the mathematics of the problem in words, and you can see that the total number of stickers divided by the number of students equals the number of stickers each student will receive. And so let's call the variable S, and which is going to represent the total number of stickers. So we're going to call the variable over here as S. All right, and we have to write an equation where we are dividing the stickers over here. So we have S divided by what? We are dividing this. We have how many people here? We have 3 people, right? So the stickers divided by 3, and each student is getting 9 stickers. And so this is how we are writing out an equation for this one. All right, and so let's do another example. Let's look at this one. And over here it's saying Benji rode his bike from Pittsburgh to Cleveland over the course of a 3-day weekend. His average distance was 48 5/10 miles each day. What was the total distance he rode? So, if you're looking at this once again, we are going to describe the mathematics of the problem in words. And so it's saying the total distance divided by 3, okay, equals 48 5/10. So the variable which I am going to use to define the total distance, I'm just going to use this as b. Okay, so I'm going to use the variable as b, which is my total distance. All right, and so we've got to write an equation. So we are going to divide b by 3 to equal 48 5/10. So here is my equation written out. So the equation that I've just written, b divided by 3 is equal to 48.5/10, can be used to find the total distance that Benji rode. Okay, that he rode. So let's do another problem really quick. And look at this one. It's saying Sophia has $16.50 to spend on party favors. She wants to spend $2.75 per person. Write a multiplication equation that can be used to find the number of people Sophia can have at the party. So I am going to call the party favors, I'm going to call the variable as f. All right, so I'm going to write out my equation. And my equation, because she has $16.50 for party favors is equal to how much is each person getting? So $2.75. Okay, so this is my equation for this problem. Now the next thing, I am going to take you back to the whiteboard over here. We're going to solve some problems. All right, so I have this equation written out over here, and you know, x over 4 is equal to 6. And I'm going to show you 2 ways that I can solve this. I'm going to show you using a bar diagram so that you can see the visual effect of this. All right, so x divided by 4 is equal to 6. So we're going to draw a bar to represent the total. Okay, we're going to draw a bar to represent the total, and the total is how much? It is x. So I'm going to write this is x. All right, and then what do we see over here? So divide the bar into 4 sections because it's being divided by 4. So this is 2, here we go. We have 4 different sections, and that's what I've divided it by. And then we're going to look at this, and so if this is 4, we're going to divide the bar into 4 sections, as I said, to show division by 4. And then we're going to work backwards to solve the problem. Because x represents the entire length of the bar, and there are 4 equal sections, we are going to work backwards. We're going to look at, okay, what should this be? We are going to multiply the 6 with 4. Okay, so each of these is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6s, because it's saying if I'm dividing by 4, I'm getting 6 for each section, right? So I'm going to write that down, and if I work backwards, I know that if I do 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, what is this total amount going to be? It gives me 24. All right, so therefore x is equal to 24. All right, so just wanted to give you a visual. All right, now we're going to use the multiplication property of equality, and we've talked about what is the inverse of division, because we know the fraction sign means that it is division. So the inverse of division is multiplication. So if x is divided by 4, I am going to multiply, instead of divided by 4, I'm going to multiply with 4. So look, I'm going to multiply with 4. And whatever I do on one side of the equation, I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the other side of the equation to keep it balanced, because an equation is a balance. Now 4 as a whole number means 4 over 1. And so in this part, I am going to simplify. And what is 4 divided by 4? I get 1. And what is 1 times x is x. All right, and then this is equal to 6 times 4, which is 24. So x is equal to 24. So I just use the multiplication property of equality in order to solve this problem. Let's do another problem, and to solve these division equations, and I'm going to use the multiplication property of equality in order to solve. Okay, so if I have x over 9 is equal to 13, x over 9 is equal to 13, okay, I'm going to write out the equation, which I did, and then I'm going to use the multiplication property of equality. So if I have x over 9, I am going to multiply this, because this is division, so I'm going to multiply with 9, okay, is equal to whatever I do on one side of the equation, I'm going to do the same thing on the other. So this is 13 times 9, and this is the multiplication property of equality. And so then this means this 9 over 1, right? And so 9 divided by 9 gives me 1, and I have x times 1, which is going to give me x. And then if I do 13 times 9, I am going to get 117. So x is equal to 117. And then I am going to check my solution. This is always crucial to know that you have done everything correctly. So you write out the original equation, which is x over 9 is equal to 13. And then we are going to substitute the value of x. And we said x is equal to 117. So I'm going to write 117 over 9 is equal to 13. And if I divide 117 by 9, I get 13. So 13 is equal to 13. So therefore, this is correct. All right, and this sentence is completely true. Let's do one division equation. We're going to solve another one. And this time, let's go ahead and use a fractional part, right? So if I say solve c over 3 is equal to 2/5. Okay, so here is my problem on the board. Okay, and so I'm going to look over here. I've written out the equation, and then I'm going to use the multiplication property of equality. Okay, so c divided by 3, I am going to multiply by 3, because multiplication property of equality. So times 3, whatever I do on one side of the equation, I'm going to do the same thing on the other. So I'm going to multiply this also by 3. Okay, and please remember that the whole number can be converted into a fraction by putting it over 1. And so 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I get c is equal to, what is 2 times 3? I get 6. 5 times 1 is 5. So I can write 6/5, or I can change it to a mixed number and write 1 and 1/5. So C is equal to 6/5 or 1 and 1/5. Okay. Let me try one with a mixed number. So you can see that no matter what, this property is going to work for everything. Okay, so if I give you a problem where it says k/4 is equal to 4 and 2/3. k/4 is equal to 4 and 2/3. Okay, so this is division. Inverse is multiplication. I'm going to multiply both sides with 4. So I have k/4 times 4 is equal to 4 and 2/3 times 4. Okay, so this is over 1, this is over 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. I get k is equal to. Do not forget the next phase of multiplying a mixed number with a whole number. Please do not try to do 4 times 4. Okay, we've learned this, and you're supposed to convert the mixed number to an improper fraction first. So 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2. As you can see, I'm going to get 14/3 times 4 over 1. And now I am going to multiply, and I know that 14 times 4 gives me 56/3. 56/3. Okay, so this is what I get as an improper fraction. And if I was to change this back to a mixed number, I would do 56 divided by 3. And I know that 1 times 3 is 3. Right? And I get 2 remainder. I bring the 6 down, and 8 times 3 gives me 24. And my remainder is 2, so I get 18 and 2/3. So 56 over 3 or 18 and 2/3 is the value of k in this case. Okay? And we are now going to go ahead and do one last problem. And so I'm going to take you to the whiteboard for this one. So here's a problem. Dario is catering a party and serves 5 5/10 ounce servings of chicken to 12 guests and 5 2/500 ounce servings of fish to 9 guests. Did Dario serve more total ounces of chicken or fish? How much more? So we can go ahead and write out an equation for each of these. And for the first one, which is chicken, we need to know the total amount. So we are going to say how many guests were there? There were 12 guests, and this is per person, right? No, it's catering a party serves 5 5/10 ounces of chicken to 12 guests. All right. So how much is the total ounces of chicken or fish? So here we go. We're going to do x over 12 guests, and you get 5 5/10 ounces. All right. For the fish, I'm going to say f over how many guests? We have 9 guests, gives me this much, 5 2/500. So once I've written out these equations, I'm going to go ahead and solve it. So let's do the first one with the chicken. So this is going to be divided by 12. So we're going to use the multiplication property of equality. Whatever I do on one side, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So 12 divided by 12 gives me 1. And x is equal to 5 and 5/10 times 12, I get 66. Okay, so this is my chicken over here. And then in this case, again, it's division, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 9. Okay, and 9 divided by 9 is 1. So the servings over here, if I do 5 and 2500 times 9, when I multiply, I get 47 and 2500. Then it's asking how much more. So I'm going to take 66 minus 47 and 2500, and when I subtract this, I get 18 and 7500. 18 and 7500. Okay, so Dario served 18 and 7500 more ounces of chicken than fish. So this is how you just write out the equation, solve it to solve these word problems. All right. So basically, once again, one-step division equations. We are using the inverse of division, which is multiplication. So that is the inverse operation. And we are doing the multiplication property of equality in order to solve these problems. Have a fabulous day, everyone.